Hey, I'm Brian, you're rocking my from Big Shop Cycles. Hey, today we're going to talk about the ignition system. Remember last week we talked about the starting system, but today we're going to talk about the ignition system, which includes a coil. Every bike has one, every bike, even this one, and this Gixxer has a coil. The coil on this Gixxer, though, has a coil that goes on. Each spark plug has a coil, but they don't have it. It also consists of your spark plug wires and your spark plug. Okay, it all hooks together. And at the beginning, when you first start your bike, it's going to get power from the battery. But once your bike gets running, it's going to take power from your alternator or your stator. Some call it stator. Still an alternator. It's all the same thing. And then, if it's not running, if you crank your bike over and the motor is cranking, but it won't start up, it's because there's probably something going on with your fuel system. Here's your petcock right here. Your petcock can get all clogged up. And to test it, all you got to do is unhook this hose, because that's going to let the fuel go into the carburetor and into there, into your jugs, and it's going to ignite through a spark in your spark plug. Okay. One thing you want to check on your spark plugs is this gap right here. See that gap right there? If it is not right, you won't get a good spark. And if you want to check that spark plug, you go to AutoStore and get a thing called a feeler gauge. And it has many gauges to it that are different thicknesses. Now, look in your repair manual, or if you look on Google, you can Google your bike to see what the spark plug gap is. And it'll tell you. And all you do is you put it in there in between that gap there. And you make sure that it fits right. If it fits like a real nice drag, then you're good to go. Another thing you want to do with that is to take a piece of 400 grit paper or 600 grit paper or 1200 wet sandpaper. You get it at the auto store, and clean the space between that little stud and that little arm that goes over. You don't want a bunch of carbon on there. You want that to be real nice and clean. Okay, if that's not starting now, like I said, you might have, your battery might be too weak. And if you haven't noticed, the battery has to do with every system on the bike. You need a strong battery. Okay, but that's about it. You got stuff to check out. And you can also, if you're not getting a spark out of here, that's not a good thing. You're not getting a spark. Let me show you how to check your spark out. The way you check your spark out is this. Here, take your spark plug out of your jug, put it in the wire like that. Now what we're going to do, we're going to crank the bike, and we're going to have this resting right against here like this. And when we crank the bike, make sure you're not touching that spark plug, because you get the voltage from the battery through your finger. You hold it by the rubber boot, and you hold it just like that, and you'll see a spark going in between there. Let me turn this bike on, or turn the bike on. Okay, now we want to hold that right against there like that, because that grounds it out, and we should see a spark. If you're not seeing the spark right there, if you're not seeing the spark, you probably know that your coil is bad. Okay. But first, before you change that out, I would just get new spark plugs. They're kind of cheap. You can get them easy. If you get new spark plugs and set the gap, and you're still not getting a spark, most likely your coil has gone up. But motorcycles are more simpler than you think. There's a rule called KIS. Keep it simple. It's not rocket science. Just figure the stuff out. Follow some of the stuff that I told you about. All right. This is Brian from Big Shop Cycles. I'll see you next week. Later.